Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Emergent Gamer Podcast, episode 254. I'm one of your hosts, Neo Ayoshi, alongside Felix Hergood.
What's up?
Lock and Key.
What's going on, y'all?
And Trip Zero.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Fantastic, man.
Yeah. We took a week off in light of the movement around the country. Yeah. I thought that was a good call to do. But we're back now. And just a few housekeeping notes where all of our YouTube videos are up to date now. Everything is on YouTube. Everything's on the podcast services. So give us a subscribe over there if you're listening. And of course, tell your friends, as Felix likes to say. Tell your parents too. Why not?
Tell anybody.
So guys, what's new?
Deadpan. Tell anybody.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. With an ear. Tell
fucking bully.
Anyone with an ear. Anyone with an ear.
Man. Yeah,
So-
it's been good. You know, life is moving on. COVID-19 is still a
thing.
still a thing. What are we? Our county is now in the yellow of the Pennsylvania plan.
You shared the glorious news that Spirit Store is opened around me.
Ooh, baby, did I?
The next day, I went right out there.
Hey guys, I don't know if this is weird. I'm getting a COVID test tomorrow.
Are you really?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to?
There's 1,000% his employer is giving him a COVID test.
No, not at all. I went to
No?
I went to a protest.
Hmm.
Sorry, I didn't go to a protest. A protest literally walked by my condo.
So you feel like you might have COVID-19 because of that?
No, I don't have any symptoms or anything. But
Felix.
if
So why are you getting a test?
well, next
God.
the week after
just
that, the week after that. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just said you're
Well,
taking
no,
a
it's
test.
fine.
I might go visit my parents the week after, so I'm just being safe.
You're being
you know?
safe.
That's
That's
it.
fair. That's fair.
You know that you could have said the first statement, which is I'm getting a test, and then the last statement, which is I'm going to see my parents, and that would have been enough. Everything else in between,
Connecting a lot of dots here.
Too many dots.
yeah, I feel like the something wasn't firing right in your brain.
Well, there was a
that's okay.
protest walked by, and then I was down at it, and I was around people, and we were mostly in 6 feet apart or whatever.
Right.
But
right,
and I had a mask on. We had masks on. Everyone had.
I
seems
know.
like everyone had
I
masks.
know, Felix, what your vision was like. It's like in The Division when like you go into a place where there's like an echo and it starts like scanning all the little dots of virus that's around you, like in your little HUD. That's what you were looking at. You're like, that's fucking. It's on the pole. It's on the tree. The person is coughed. It's seeped out of their mask. It's up in the air. You're just like, we got to get in. We got to go back in the house. We're done. We're done here.
We were sorry. I mean, you have a pessimistic view of me. I was out. I was out on the streets for at least an hour and a half. Hour and a half. I was out for an hour and a half.
Slowly gets down in the story.
Yeah, because we took a walk,
maybe,
and then we watched some people
90
speak.
minutes.
It was great. We from the bleachers, like really far away from where people were speaking, and then took an exit. Walked back. And when we were walking back, some guy hung out the car and said, "All lives matter." And then me and my girlfriend, in unison, reactionary, no thought in our heads at all, flipped him the bird.
Nice.
Good for
Together.
you.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I was very excited.
Nice.
So
Anyway,
Yeah, nothing.
video
Yeah, video games.
It does feel a little weird though, honestly, to like hard jump back into games with everything that's going on.
that's what I'm saying. I had to tell you my anecdote.
Yeah. Honestly, like since we're talking about it, the first week all the protests broke out, I was like, I can't in my right conscience tweet about video games. The least important thing in the world right now.
Exactly.
Like completely.
That's why I didn't want to stream. I didn't
Debated
want to stream.
not streaming. Yeah.
I
too
felt
greasy.
a little weird yesterday.
Yeah.
Going live.
Well, I decided that any donations that I since last week, I'm just going to put right into changeyourworld.org or whatever, the one of those donations for that. So it's like literally using my platform to help people is the best thing I can think of.
Yeah, for sure.
I donated. This is the only donation I did all week. I mean, I plan to do more in the future, but like the donation that I did this week I think is a pretty good cause. Are you guys familiar with Jerry Conway? You know who he is? Neo, you don't know who he is? Jerry Conway is a partial creator of The Punisher.
Okay.
And as you guys know, many of the law enforcement organizations have adopted the Punisher's logo, and they've put it on their cars and everything like that. Jerry Conway created exclusive Black Lives Matters Punisher logos.
Nice.
He's got 3 exclusive ones that he created, and all the proceeds for the shirts that you get go to the Black Lives Matter Fund. So I bought one of the T-shirts, which and donated an extra $50 on top of that. But I think it's great that he's trying to bring his logo back.
It's funny that the police have co-opted it because the creators, I don't know if it was Conway himself, they've said that the Punisher's symbol is he's like an anti-authoritarian.
They haven't just said it, Neo.
That's the whole character, right?
No, they haven't just said it. They wrote it.
Yeah.
They wrote a whole sequence like last year into his comic arc where 2 cops come up to him wearing the Punisher logo, and he gives them a lecture on like what they're doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Because the whole symbol of the Punisher is about the failure of police. The reason he has to do his job is because they're not doing their job correctly.
Right.
And that's what's really cool. But Conway's been very outspoken against law enforcement that have adopted his logo, and I think it's great that he recreated it. Trying to take it back. So.
Well, anyway, Felix, do you want to tell us about your video game adventures this week?
Yeah.
What you've been getting into. That's doing a hard jump. I'm doing a hard jump.
Hard jump's fine.
Yeah.
So I have the first thing I want to talk about is a little TV related, but it is related to games. So I started this past week. I got heavily into finishing Clone Wars.
The show.
Clone Wars, the TV show.
Yep.
Which I never realized was a Star Wars canon. I didn't realize it was part of the canon universe. Subsequent shows, the Rebels and Resistance, are also a part of that universe, as is Star Wars: The Fallen Order, the game. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Everything since the Disney acquisition.
Right. I was about to say that. Yeah. Whatever thing is branded with Star Wars is officially all connected into this story.
Very exciting because the actor who played Cal Kestis in the Fallen Order video game, which I've mentioned before, is a popular television actor, and it is very possible that we will see Cal Kestis. He was
Joker.
Yeah, he was the Joker. I can't remember his name, but he's also on Shameless.
In Gotham.
Ian on Shameless. Yep.
Yeah. So this is very exciting because there is a possibility that Cal Kestis, the Jedi that he plays in Fallen Order, could show up in one of the TV shows, especially if they take there's a huge dark area in the storytelling. Going from Order 66 when it occurs at the end of Revenge of the Sith to Solo. Essentially, this is like many, many years. This might be 30 years before Han Solo was born. So there's a huge gap of time where they're probably going to put the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and they're probably going to put, and they have this game, Fallen Order. So it's very possible that Cal Kestis could end up in the show with that actor playing him. So anyway, so I finished Clone Wars, and I realized halfway through Clone Wars that I needed to go back and watch episode 1 and 2 just to have context for Clone Wars. So I rewatched them, then I went through all of Clone Wars, and finished the other day with Revenge of the Sith, and then I moved right into replaying Fallen Order. So I've been replaying just on super easy, no hard difficulty. I've been replaying Fallen Order this whole past week just so I can familiarize myself with parts of the Clone Wars lore that were in that game that I didn't recognize the first time I played it. Like I had no idea, a great example is it opens in a ship factory yard, and basically Cal Kestis, I don't know what I just said.
Say that 10 times fast.
Cal Kestis the Jedi is hiding in a ship scrapping yard. Well, what I thought was really neat post watching Clone Wars is now I know the difference between a clone ship and which is now like the Empire versus a separatist ship. So like in the beginning you see them bringing in a separatist vessel and I'm like, oh, that's from the show. Like all this stuff that I didn't know before, there's all these references in Fallen Order that I'm now picking up on playing through it again. And that the whole premise of the game is about the formation of the Jedi Order after post Order 66. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've been doing that all week.
Nice.
The other thing that I got into, which I didn't really get into because all these features came out when I wasn't playing the game. When I first played Red Dead Online, I've been playing the Red Dead story. I mentioned that last week. When I first played Red Dead Online, it was broke as hell. It was in the first 2 weeks of it coming out. I dropped over and over again and finally just gave up. I think I was playing, I remember the specific session, I think I was playing with Artemis. Me and Artemis were playing online or trying to play online, and he kept dropping, and then I dropped, and finally I just told him verbally. I don't even know if we might not have been playing live. We probably were. I told him, I got to switch to another game, dude. I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just too much. It's too broken. Anyway.
So what's it like now?
It's great. Not only is it stable, so you don't drop. I hardly dropped at all, although a friend of mine, Splorence, has a lot of problems with it still dropping. But we think that probably is his router, because it doesn't drop for Jay Prince. It doesn't drop for me. It doesn't drop for my friend Philly Special. It doesn't drop for any of us, but it does drop for my one friend. But they added roles into, now roles are similar to what GTA Online does with, like,
is it like a class system?
Right. Yeah. So you could do like a cocaine business in GTA. You could do like a whatever business, like for gun running or whatever. But there's no role associated with that in GTA Online. In this, you can play as 4 different roles. A collector, which obviously you can figure out what that means. A moonshiner, where you get like a moonshining business. And not only is it just the business of running moonshine, but it's also a full speakeasy. So when you fully establish it, you open a speakeasy and you can, like, cater to clientele, and you get bonuses for drinking from your own whiskey and all this shit. But there's also now a bounty hunter role where you can get a bounty hunter's license to get started in doing it. And they also added something called the butcher's table, which is a business that you can run out of your camp, where you kill animals, bring them in, give them to this guy Cripps that works in your camp. He converts them over to something sellable, and then you do sellable runs. Now, of course, it functions like GTA, where a portion of the time you're riding alone, and then you're revealed on the map. But what I've observed, and what I keep saying his real name, what Jay Prince and I observed when we're playing the game, is that the map is huge, and people are less interested in messing with you. Also, you don't have magical weapons like flying vehicles to, like, wipe people out at the last minute. So there's not much incentive for people to hassle you when you're doing runs. There's also a whole choice to, like, decide not to do a run where you're revealed on the map. So they're doing it way better than GTA Online. I won't go back to GTA Online because
You're actually making it sound really enticing.
It's a troll's paradise in GTA Online. Red Dead, I could spend hours just putting animals into my butcher's table. Like, it's awesome. Like, you go out and hunt. You take the run, you get money for it.
Do you have to pick one role, or can you, like,
no? You can take them all on. So there's the collector, there's the moonshiner, there's the bounty hunter, and there's one more. And
let me just add,
can't remember what the last one is.
On top of this, are there like the same, like, PvP modes, like death matches and stuff like that?
It's all in the map still.
Stuff's there.
So if you and your friends decide, we definitely want to
poker and stuff too, and
the
stuff
poker's
like that.
in world. Like, that's in world. You can find a poker table in every town almost.
And play with your friends, like, do it together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because forming a posse is the easiest it's ever been. It's easier than it ever was in Red Dead Online. You just invite somebody to your posse, and then the cool thing is we go in and out of forming posses pretty dynamically. Like, if I'm hunting for Jay Prince and he's about ready to fill his cart. I mean, basically, when you fill your cart, you got to run it. So if he gets to the point where his cart is getting full, and then I still have some animals that I killed on my horse, I'll leave his posse temporarily, reform mine, and set my camp, because you set your camp anywhere near where you are. I'll set my camp near where he is, and then I'll run my horse over to my camp, deposit it to my butcher table instead. So all of this just makes the game so much more dynamic than I ever imagined it would be. And it's all PvE. It's not every single one of those bounty hunting missions. It's not me running out and hunting a player down. Those are like bounty hunting missions in the original story and in the current story, where you run off and there's like 50 bad guys you got to kill, and you got to bring the guy back dead or alive, right? Some of them have like extra stories associated with them, where with multiple points in a mission where you have to like, you go to this story beat and then this one and then this one. Those are called legendary bounties. So it's a lot of it's very neat. The collector thing you could just do dynamically as you go along. Now that being said, saying everything is great, functionally, the disadvantage is of course monetary. It's not fucking free. In fact, the grind you got to put in to get the amount of gold, because that's what you buy it with. Gold is their currency that you can buy for real.
Of course.
The amount of hours you got to put in to get all of the role, like initial buy-ins, the things that give you the equipment to do it. You got to buy the moonshine shack. You got to buy to do moonshining. You have to get the license. You got to pay for that. And then the collector's bag to do the collector's thing. And then the butcher's table. All those things.
And you lost me. You had me, dude, in the beginning, and now I'm like,
but listen to what I'm saying. You need equipment to do these things, or you need a license to do the bounty hunting. So if you want to do that stuff and you want to do it immediately without having to earn the gold over time, it's going to take you months probably to get enough gold in order to do all that stuff.
God.
Or you just pay for it in their store. See what I'm saying? So it's a grind. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I am.
No, he is. He doesn't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
Oh, he's being lost.
That was a problem.
I didn't understand what you meant by you lost me.
No, like you had me. You
lost the interest.
Really
yeah.
Like right. I'm like, oh, this sounds really cool, and then you're like, oh, great. Well, you have to grind months to get the stuff if I don't want to pay extra for it.
Right.
And that was a problem in the beginning of Red Dead Online. Was everything. The price to time investment was out of proportion completely. Like,
well, that's not a problem anymore. They fixed that.
Okay. All right.
Except for these role necessities. So if you want to do the butcher's table, you're going to have 9 gold. 9 gold doesn't come easy because you get fractions of gold when you do a mission. You get virtually nothing, cents.
Yeah, but you don't need to do these roles to play the online.
No, not
right?
at all.
So you're choosing, right, that you want to play the online game this way. And they're simply saying, okay, well, you either need to save up to do this or give us some money.
It's not unlike reality. it's a good reality simulator.
That's what I want video games for.
I guess my question would be, do all activities pay out in gold? Meaning, can I go do PvP? Can I go do deathmatch?
I think so.
And do I get gold from playing deathmatch? Then I can take and reinvest.
I think so,
in my
but I
haven't.
I don't put. You know me. I don't play that side of the game very often.
PvP was just it could be anything,
but like,
right? Like whatever. Like,
not only do you get gold when you run a mission, that's your friend's mission. Like you get gold when you run your own mission. But if I join Neo's posse, and then we run his story missions, I'll get I'll get gold from everything I do. So you do earn something every time you do something, but yeah, it's just how much and how fast and whatever. Of course, I bought it all and set it all up.
Of course you did.
Just to explore it.
Fallout
just to explore.
Nice.
I don't doubt it.
They were offering a deal on gold in the store, and I said, okay, I'm gonna buy some gold.
Of course, there's a deal, dude.
I mean, you can buy like one amount for $20, but then you can buy $50. They give you even more.
It was
about 22
times. It was not that much.
Did they discount it and then also throw in a bonus? Like here's an extra 200.
It was
gold.
it was $5 for 25 gold. That got me the butcher table and the stew pot, which is in your camp. It gives you a core. It's food.
Stew pot
for food. Anyway, so I bought those two things. That was $5. Okay. Then I paid $19 for 55 gold. to get the other two the things, the license and the Moonshiner Shack. So that how much did I pay? I paid $24. $24 on top of the price of the game.
But do those things, does that roll give you enough to warrant a DLC purchase? Like, did you effectively just buy a DLC
that's what it feels
by
like.
doing that?
Yeah.
And there you go.
Because now I can freely play the bounty hunter thing and do that as much as I want. And that pays out when you do legendary bounties, lots of gold, according to Jay Prince.
Gotcha.
And so does the Moonshiner Shack, and I'm blanking on. Oh, and
I guess the reason why I ask is if you change your outlook or your mindset, like, are you getting? It's not like you're buying this for a purely cosmetic thing, right? Like, if you're getting all of this value out of it, right? Then, okay, whether you give them $25 to buy the Bounty Hunter DLC pack, or you do it by buying in-game items, what's the difference? You're going to be.
It seems like it's all the same amount. I don't feel like they're, unless of course they come out with more rolls down the road, but that's no different than me buying extra characters in Mortal Kombat that they come out with 6 months down the road, like
sure.
It's similar.
Yeah.
Do you buy DLC, Neo?
Depends. I bought the Spider-Man DLC. Yeah. That's an example of DLC I bought. I'm gonna buy Destiny's DLC, probably.
Hey, was that a segue? Was that a segue? Or?
Well, it's a segue to what's Lockup to.
Yeah, what's up?
I know it's not Destiny, but
yeah,
you're next.
Yeah, just Valorant.
Cool.
Just still playing Valorant.
The game is addicting as hell, man. The rush from getting good kills is insane.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's a good game. So the full release came out. Is that last week or the week before? Last week. It was
last Monday.
Last Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday, yeah.
So I mean, it released for North America really well. I know some of the international servers weren't great, but overall, from our perspective in North America, it was a smooth launch. They've been, I'm in the Valorant subreddit, nightly, and the developers are really active in there. They've already released a patch within a week with bug fixes and tweaks to characters and things like that, tweaks to the map and to the game modes. So they're super active. So it's been fun. Definitely addicted for sure. I'm
glad there's so many of us playing it, because having teammates in that game is really it's really cool to have a bunch of people that want to strategize and do really well in it. It makes it a better experience than no mic people that we come across.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like when I was doing ranked in the beta and no one was playing, and it would just be me, on a team of 5 by myself, and majority of the time you either get people not communicating or people that are, not nice people. So in those situations, I can only play so many games of that, right? It definitely is better together. So we have a pretty good number of people that are currently playing it.
Even when it's us and we lose, I don't feel too awful about it, because it's like, well, we had the opportunity to do well and it's fine. We'll just play again. We're all in this together, I guess you'd say. We're all teammates, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, I don't think I've played anything else. I've thought about booting up Destiny again. We'll definitely unpack that.
We'll talk about that
after you guys go. I'll give you my thoughts, but I mean, right now, just really enjoying Valorant. I gave them some money for some skins.
Oh yeah, I bought it. Bought the season pass for that, Felix.
Yep.
There you go.
So I bought the season pass.
Free game. I don't mind doing that.
Yeah,
but I'm not paying $50 for stupid skins. I'm not doing that. That is crossing a line. The price of those skins are insane.
Is that what Locke did?
They're not really. It's not really insane. If you look at League of Legends skins are more.
Okay.
I think it is easy to say that they are expensive. But if you look at what they've created, the infrastructure they've created, it's not cheap for the infrastructure they've created. And then if you look at say the CSGO skin market and see where that is, where people are buying $1,000 knife skins on the secondary market. Yes, a $50 pack of skins is not ideal, but yeah, It just comes down to where you fall. Like I invested in the pack because personally I would want them to have, I would spend that much money to play that game if it wasn't free to play. Right. So for me, I'm just giving it to the developer in another way.
Skins don't give you any kind of functionality, right? It's just for
it's just a cosmetic thing.
Show off like some ass.
They also said they're not doing skins for the characters because they wanted uniformity. They wanted uniformity between the characters, so they don't. You want to be able to recognize them, I guess.
They also didn't want the hitboxes to change. A big problem with different skins in Overwatch and other games is it changes the hitbox. And they've made the hitboxes the same on all the characters, even though their character models are different. They're all the same. So if you introduce new skins, they have to then do that and balance that each time.
What do you mean? Sorry, for clarity's sake, what do you mean by hitbox?
Yeah. So your head, your character model head, right, has a certain threshold on what registers as a headshot, right? In Valorant, there is no room for error, right? In other games, a hitbox for a headshot might be this big, right? Where I can hit a bullet here and it'll register as a headshot. In Destiny, it's this big. I can shoot something here and it registers as a headshot. In Valorant, they've made the hitbox to actually be the character model, so much so that like if you hit in between someone's arm when you're shooting, it does not register as a bullet. But in other games, that would register as a body shot, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you start introducing new skins where their clothing changes or their body weight changes or their height changes, right? All of those things change the hitboxes, and then it's not uniform anymore. So they would then need to make sure that each skin they come out with is unique to the character, is cool enough that people are going to spend money on it, and that is also balanced enough to be a competitive shooter, which they're more concerned about it being a competitive shooter. So the gun skins don't matter because it doesn't change mechanically the way that the gun works. They just look cooler. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I definitely hear you on the skin piece. The way that I justified it and looked at it was, this is how much money I would have spent on this game if it was not free to play. It
makes sense.
What I will have to do for my own sake is then not continue to put money into it and just leave it at what I did, which was, here's my money. Thank you for creating this product. Now I will just play the game.
That's,
you know what
that's
I mean?
the philosophy I'm thinking in my head block with Red Dead. Like, when am I going to break down? When am I going to break down and just buy gold to buy clothing?
Oh, yeah, you'll reach it, man. I mean, that's what I just did, essentially, right? It's not like I unlocked anything. It doesn't make a difference.
If they offer good rewards for the season pass, I see myself, and I'm still playing the game, I see myself just doing the season pass every time and just enjoying it that way.
Well, the problem with the season pass, and I agree, I think a lot of the good thing about this season pass is that the skins inside of it are great.
Yeah, they're generally pretty good.
They're good. The issue with the season pass, and that a lot of people have a problem with, is it is a lot of XP to finish the season pass. I don't even know, with the amount that I'm playing, which is fairly regularly, that I will complete the season pass because of the amount of XP you need to complete it. So the argument for that sake is like, can they make the season pass, where you do have to regularly play the game, but not, for the term that Felix loved, no life the game, to the point where you're having to put in 8 hours a day to complete the season pass because of the amount of XP it requires. I just can't. Right. So yeah, but I mean, overall, I'm definitely enjoying it. Hopefully the ranked playlist comes back in the near future, so we can dive into some ranked as well. They've already talked about how they're going to be experimenting with new game modes. They're very vocal about the feedback that they hear. They acknowledge the feedback that they hear, and they reiterate it to us, which is really great. Like, hey, I hear you guys talking about X. We don't know if we're going to resolve it now, but we hear you, which is all we really want majority of the time, depending on the situation. So yeah, I'm excited for the roadmap for them and where it comes. So hopefully in the next episode or two, there'll be another game in my lineup that I go back to. But as of right now, it's really been it. Warzone. I played a lot of Warzone during the double XP weekend when Valorant was not when the closed beta ended, or when the beta ended and their full release was coming out that week. I played a ton of Warzone, which is also a really great game. It's so much fun. I just won't choose it over Valorant, but
yeah. I did reinstall that as well to play more Warzone.
Yeah, it's fun.
I still have it installed.
They've done a great job. I would love to play it again with you, Felix, for real. I mean, they've nailed the BR experience. There's some things that I don't like about it and I would change to make it like the perfect BR experience, but I think they've done a really great job of making a solid battle royale experience, and then keeping COD, keeping the COD play style and the COD, persona alive with it, and not making it just, a standard battle royale. So
maybe we can look to it this weekend, possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Follow me in on that.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, majority of the time, like I'll just boot up and play Valorant if no one's playing. But if someone wanted to play Warzone, I'd rather play with somebody else than play Valorant solo. I just choose to play Valorant because I don't like playing Warzone by myself. I don't like solos. So yeah. If you want to play, you just got to hit me up, and if I'm free, I'm down for sure.
Nice. Trip, what's up? What you been up to?
Not much, man. Obviously, still on the journey of moving and getting settled into the new spot. That's been the primary goal, but I did find time to set up my system, my streaming gear, new background, all that kind of stuff, and even do a stream last night of Breath of the Wild.
And now you're back on Twitch.
That is what happened. Yeah, my stream last night was on twitch.tv/TripZeroTV.
Hold the phone.
I just dropped that bomb right in the middle.
Hold the landline.
I was in his last Mixer stream.
It's true.
So saw that ship go down.
Come on, man. Give me some. If you don't mind expanding, give me some deets.
Yeah.
Man.
As to the why.
Yeah, like what's going on?
Do we want the why? I feel like I could talk more about that than about Breath of the Wild, because we all know Breath of the Wild's a fantastic game. I played 4 hours of it again and absolutely loved it. Did some expansion stuff that I never touched after I beat Ganon originally in like 2017, whenever that happened, I think.
That's what I gotta do. Beat Ganon.
You gotta beat Ganon, yeah.
Link running around, he's like, I'm forgetting something, aren't I?
Yeah, 2.5 years later, like, what the fuck did I have to do in 2017? But I was running around doing there's different armor sets to collect and other little objectives. So I was working on that kind of stuff. It's fun. That game just pulls you in every different direction, but not in a bad way. You start off doing one thing, and you just pinball through the life of Link in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I'm not upset that I didn't beat Ganon.
But yeah, in terms of the swap back to Twitch, it's been something that I've been silently debating probably since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Just watching and waiting and kind of seeing how certain things were happening in the industry with Mixer itself. And really in the shortest amount of words, and I'm going to expand for sure, but if I had to underline a reason or a couple of reasons in kind of the most succinct way, it's a misalignment between what I hear are the way Mixer is being run management wise, the way that they're allocating money to do the things they want to do, and then a mismanagement of the directives of where they're taking their platform away from growth, or doing things that I think they think are going to lead to growth, but are not what bring people to other more popular websites, including Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, for all different reasons. Each of those has a giant audience. Like Facebook and YouTube have built-in audiences before they did streaming, which was a huge leg up.
Yeah.
But Mixer is kind of the closest to Twitch in the way that it climbed up to becoming a streaming platform out of itself. Twitch grew its audience and attracted them over time, from Justin TV onto Twitch to Amazon's purchase of them. And Mixer is kind of doing the same thing with Beam, and then the Microsoft acquisition, and then Mixer, but it's still a long way away from where it needs to be. That's not the reason that I left, though. The reason I left is because they want to be where Twitch is, and they're skipping really, really, really important steps, I think, to get there. They're making giant leaps. They're making giant leaps, like acquiring massive talent in the hopes of acquiring an audience, but they don't have working websites, ingest servers, or mobile applications. People don't want to be on the sites because they can't.
TV applications either.
Sure. I mean,
to the amount of watching that I do from my Apple TV now, is crazy. And there's no presence there, right? Which just seems like
there isn't a Mixer app, but there's an app you can download that works with it.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
Right.
I know.
A Twitch app on TV.
But that's how it started with Twitch too. The only thing that was on the Apple TV for Twitch was Twitchy.
Yeah, but Twitch also had a pilot for a long time that you could sign up for free when it was the beta app on the Apple TV. Neither here nor there. Keep going, Trip. But yes, no mobile app presence for sure.
They're spending millions of dollars on acquiring these streamers to get on their platform, but they don't have a way for people to watch on any screen in their house. That's a problem, right? Like, because you want to put your platform in front of as many people as possible, but they're spending money on these streamers instead of or coming out with these applications on your Amazon Fire Stick or your Apple TV or your Roku.
It's part of the problem. I don't even think that's the core of the problem. The core of the problem is the website and the experience itself. And that's something that, of course, any site is going to have as a growing pain, but they're jumping over it and going right to the acquisitions. They're going right to Embers for all broadcasters, which is their equivalent of bits. Everyone on Mixer can earn Embers for money. Right?
Didn't they have Embers as a currency before bits were a thing?
No.
Yeah, but it was
no.
I thought
Embers
it was only
for response to bits.
I thought it was only for partners.
It was originally, but now Embers is for everybody. I was in one of their pilot programs to test receiving Embers for non-partners last summer. So they've been thinking about that for a while. They're now testing clip generation for everyone.
Wow.
Which that's a great feature for sure. Obviously, clips, I think, are one of the reasons why Twitch became so popular in the past couple of years, because you could just share someone a quick 30-second link that you made yourself in their channel.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a great step forward for Mixer. But again, people can't be on your website. Literally last night, pretty serendipitously, and I don't want to shit on the platform. Please don't think I'm saying this, but it's just funny that it happened. People couldn't go live on Mixer last night. The entire site was down. Not that
I didn't know that.
On things like Twitch, but it's there's more instability on their site and on their experience and on their servers across web or mobile, and people just don't want to be there. And you have to solve that first before you do the really cool features.
I completely concur with you on the technical issues. Every time I try to go live to Mixer and Twitch at the same time, there's usually some kind of weirdness with Mixer. And if there is, every time I contact Restream's tech support, they always go, "We don't know what the problem is. It's probably not us."
Right.
It's interesting, right? I think Twitch has a huge leg up with brand recognition with Amazon behind them, right? And I think they've done a really great job of marketing. The integration of Twitch Prime is fucking huge. That's a huge hurdle for Mixer to try and overcome is the integrated Twitch Prime, right?
Mixer came close to their Microsoft points. It's a good step, but it's nowhere near.
It is a good step, but it's nowhere near. You're right.
Ubiquitous.
I think my challenge to them was I think Microsoft is a great corporate partner or corporate owner to have to rival something like Amazon. But I would agree that I don't think like Microsoft as the tip of the iceberg is looking at the platform with the same lens that we are looking at it, looking up, right? And I think that's probably the problem.
Yeah, I think the fact that they are owned by Microsoft has a lot of benefits in terms of like, integration into things like Xbox and their ecosystems and stuff like that. And there may be a
Windows 10. Right? Like why is there no integration in Windows 10?
No Apple Windows 10.
Right?
There is. I use it for you guys actually. I had your faces on my pinned to my dashboard. You got to install it though. It's not like built in.
Well, that's my point.
Is it an app labeled Watch Mixer?
Let me see. I'm clicking on it now.
Is it in the Windows 10 store?
I believe so. Yes.
Is it part of the Xbox system or experience?
I don't think it's official. It's called MixPlay for Mixer. That's the app I use.
Well, MixPlay is what they call their button creation system that sits under the
Oh, okay.
The window.
Then I have no idea.
But even and with all the bullshit that Windows 10 gives you when you install Windows 10, how is that like
crush on my computer for some reason?
Yeah, right. Like, why is Mixer not a a thing, right? Like, where's the integration?
And
which is a huge miss.
There could be a giant shift even this year with like the Xbox. I even forget what they're calling their newest machine, but like the new Xbox thing comes out, that could be massive.
Xbox Series X.
Thank you. Take a giant turn at that point, you know. But it's getting to a point where I've spent the majority of my streaming career on Mixer at this point.
Yeah.
As far back as Beam, and I think they can easily rival Twitch, or at least give people a good other option. But they're not there yet, and they're taking a very long time to get there. As well as internally, I've heard that there's culture shifts and culture misalignments with people that are running their department, along with budget cuts. So you have people that don't want to do what the employees that probably know best want to do. They don't want to do the same things. They won't give them the money to do the things. And Microsoft directly owning them, I think, is more of a problem than it may appear to a lot of us, because organizationally, Twitch under Amazon is not like run by Amazon. They're run by their own company that's owned by Amazon.
Right.
There's really no like overhead they have to check with Amazon. They don't run their decisions past like the leadership team of Amazon Corporation. Whereas with Beam and Mixer, they do. That goes up the Microsoft chain of command. So there's probably a lot of people that get their hands in the money pot and go, why are we spending money on this? Which also ties their hands up.
Yeah, what's that?
Right.
So
these are all. I've been studying this for a long time, and
it's the Peter principle at work. It's the Peter principle. You know, the Peter principle is that the higher up in management people go, the dumber they get, because they don't know anything about the structure of the organization.
So like, your own level
the executives of companies are just stupid because they don't even know how the companies are run, because they're not running them.
But they're just looking at service level numbers, right? They're thinking about
they're looking at the highest possible numbers possible in the company, and not looking at like how those numbers are even formed. Yeah, that's called the Peter principle. You can read
So that essay on the state of Mixer, combined with the push that we're all making together as a community with the emerging gamer, I thought it was really a good time to kind of align and just hop on over. And I'm someone who's literally, I do consider myself platform agnostic. You know, like, I think I need to be in the best place at any given time for myself, for my brand, for our brand, for all of these things together.
Right.
And it just felt like the right time to come back to Twitch. That could always change.
Are you still are you an affiliate on Twitch?
Yep,
right.
Correct.
Okay. I thought you were before the full push over.
I was restreaming together for probably a year, for half a year, I would say, when I started going full time.
Right.
I emailed them. I was like, hey, I'm going to be doing this. Remove me from the program so I don't get in trouble. And I got an email back from Twitch like a month after I sent mine saying like, yeah, just email us back with like your streamer ID. And I'm sitting there like, why do I need to tell you my streamer?
It's real bad.
Clearly communicated to me.
They have a term for it too. It's called.
So I just didn't respond at all, and here I am. Didn't have to jump through any other red tape, and they never like stopped any of like the random subs or like bits that would come through in those months. They like nothing ever stopped there. It just, I'm not going to do your work for you, man. I emailed you.
Right.
Trip. They have an internal term for it. It's called offboarding. That's what it's called. That's
right, for sure.
Offboarding. And I kept going back and forth with the guy for months, and finally I said, I'm breaking the terms and conditions of Twitch if I go live to these services at once.
Yeah.
And then the guy writes me back. He goes, oh, you mean offboarding? You need to be offboarded. I was like, I responded back. I'm like, yes, offboarding. That's exactly what I need. Please do that.
It's funny too, because I was checking all the things I have to change and put on my channel, and I found in some knowledge based article on Twitch, they were like, if you leave the affiliate program and come back, you don't have to do XYZ. And I'm like, how do you even fucking leave? But apparently they think it's possible. But yeah, that's the
welcome back, Trip.
Thank you. Thank you. Very supportive.
I was going to devil's advocate on one point. You did make a great argument. All of these are great points about why you don't want to be on the service anymore. Mm-hmm. But isn't this kind of counter to the original point that you made that you wanted to be on the ground floor of a new service?
It is. Yeah.
But is it though? I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think that the time that I've invested, well, what am I trying to say? I think the amount of time that it's going to take to get to that point is longer than I want to invest in the current wave of everything that we're doing, of the entire streaming culture, of what's going on in gaming. I think we miss that wave if I stubbornly stick on Mixer, because that moment one day will come when they get the audience, when they get the views, when that catches up and everything kind of swells to the top. It's going to happen. I'm convinced it will happen, but I think it's going to happen in maybe 4 to 5 years from now versus when I thought it was going to be like 3 to 4 years in 2018, based on just how slow they've been doing everything and the way they've managed their upgrades. So to answer your question, yes. And
yeah, no. I mean, I don't really think it's counter to like, if you would have said that, if you would have made that statement and then 3 months later switched over, well, then I would say, okay, well, then that's counter to something that you've been saying for the past 3 months. But for someone that's stuck with the platform, defended the platform, right, as you have in many times, and advocated for the platform, I feel like you did your due diligence and your justice for sticking around for so long. I think it's savvy to say, like, look, this is the reason why I'm leaving. It's not, it's not because I didn't see growth. It's not because I don't think it could be great. It's because I feel like these major problems are not going to be solved in a time frame that makes sense for my brand and my business.
Yeah, you said you've been waiting for them to make these improvements, and it's like they're dragging their feet a bit,
Yeah, and a lot of that I think is out of the hands of the people that are making those changes. It just there's a lot of factors in play that unfortunately are not aligning together.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope it changes. I really do. We need more choice for streaming platforms. We do. Imagine if you could ever watch Netflix. Shit's popping on there for sure. But like, all the other things
great on HBO Max and Stars and all them other shows. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Neo, what have you been up to?
I have been doing a few things. This week I streamed all of Portal 1 and 2. Went through all those games again. Still gems. Those games are A+ top quality stuff. And I played the co-op with Quail, and it's really fun going through those games again. They're just so well made and so charming and fun to play. But I have also restarted Bloodborne, which is a really good game. Like, it's excellent. Like, it's my favorite of like the From Software Souls games that I've played, and like I still haven't like really played Sekiro, but I don't know if I'm going to, because that game just seems like it's really hard and I don't feel like doing that to myself. But Bloodborne is amazing, and just in the way it feels, the way it plays, they're more lenient on certain things. Like you can carry like 20 health potions instead of like 4 that get reused every time, and any stuff like that. The weapons are awesome. They all have different modes, I don't know if did you guys play this game?
I played Bloodborne.
I've played a little bit of Bloodborne.
Yeah. I screamed in a guttural rage at Bloodborne.
Oh, it's rage inducing. Yeah, for sure. The first boss you run into is like really fucking hard.
That giant thing on the bridge, right?
Yeah, that boss.
Here's
and
the
then
thing,
it's tough.
The worst part about it is it's not the kind of anger that I get when I just lose at like the baseball game. Like in this, you know why you lost. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Your fault. Yeah.
This game because you keep repeating it over and over and over again. There's no way you can go through this the first time and actually succeed.
Enemies telegraph pretty well what to do, like what they're going to do, right? Like they tell you what you're doing. But I do love the counter system that is in the game, because they give you a gun instead of like a shield like Dark Souls has, right? And you fire the gun as an enemy attacks, it makes a ping sound, and that lets you do like a critical strike on enemies, right? And but you're right, Felix. Never good at.
I ran around a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. And also, this game, speaking of hitboxes, amazing hitbox porn. Like you can hit something anywhere, and it will be exact, like to where you're swinging your sword or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like the game has really tight hitboxes, which is really nice. And I was playing it co-op with one of my friends too, and it's actually pretty fun to play co-op too, and it actually makes it a lot easier. Speaking of,
did not know it had a co-op mode. Honestly,
Bloodborne has co-op.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even know that.
You get this item every time you beat a boss, and you spend that to summon a friend into your world.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I did know
Dark
that.
Souls, you ring a bell, and then your friend rings a bell, and you have a password that matches, pulls them into your world. But we've noticed some problems with the co-op. Items that are like pickup items in the world, like weapons and other things that you find, only exist for the host of the game. So what we had to do was, you beat the boss of that area, and then it sends him back to his world, and then we have to do that whole area over again in his world. So we went back, and it is, but at the same time, you're getting a lot of souls, a lot of whatever blood souls or whatever they're called, and we're really strong, right? So we're leveling up every time.
I mean, you're playing the whole game twice, really.
Exactly, and we're faster the next time we do it, and the boss is easier the next time. So, boom. I guess that is a positive.
Sure. So you're doing this on PS4.
Yeah, on PS4. Although rumored last week, Bloodborne is being listed for PC soon. But let me tell you, that game's performance, it's a big problem on the PS4. It chugs in certain areas, frame rate's dropping like crazy. The loading times at launch, I remember, were really bad. It seems like they fixed a lot of that, but
it would be great on PC, man.
It would be great on PC at a higher frame rate. Yeah, it would. It really would. It would probably look and feel a lot better.
It would look amazing. Yeah.
Also, remember this when we talk about the PS5 news later, because I'm going to bring something up. Anyway, those are the new games I've been playing, or the games I just went through. And that's it.
Nice.
Shall we jump into the news?
Yeah. Do you want to go straight into PS5, or do you want to hit Destiny stuff?
Which one do you want to do? Trip, do you want to talk Destiny first?
I could definitely talk Destiny. I mean, I'll always talk Destiny.
Cool. Let's talk about what they announced yesterday, and then we'll do the PS5.
So yesterday was not only the beginning of the most recent season that they call the Season of Arrivals, but it was the same day that they talked about the season, which is weird because usually they spend like the week before or the 2 weeks before, they give you a preview of what's coming through. They were very quiet about what's coming up with this season, probably because of a lot of the feedback they were getting. They probably wanted to make sure everything was correct and like deliverable and a bunch of stuff like that. But they hit us with some very, very, very massive updates.
Really massive, actually.
They gave us some hints as to what's coming in the fall, and not only fall of 2020, fall of 2020, 2021, and 2022. They gave us essentially a very rough roadmap for where the game is going to go on an overarching story kind of trajectory. That alone is wild, because if they were with Activision, that would be Destiny 4, the 2022 stuff.
I pulled up a Jason Schreier tweet because he did some investigating in this. If they were still with Activision, next year's thing or this year's thing would have been Destiny 3, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so on and so forth with the other expansions, probably, or maybe they would have been expansions, but Destiny 3 would have been a thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like, thanks to this announcement, this is Destiny from now on, right?
Yeah. Bungie's committed to making this the game that is just evolved on, and instead of something that becomes like a sequel-based iterative game. I would probably bet, though, in 2023 we get a new version.
Sure.
Yeah, because they said they're not dropping the 2. They're not dropping Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So I would imagine we'll get a third game just by that point. We're talking new engine, new hardware.
Right?
Eventually we'll need something. I don't know if they'll call it Destiny 3, right? They might just call it Destiny, and maybe that's something that,
or it's done and they move on to another project. Maybe they
they are hiring. They are hiring for new IP. So
yeah, they are. They did take an investment too on a new IP.
Interestingly, if anyone out there knows the rough story of Destiny, it's a high concept space battle against dark versus light. The name, the working title of the 2020 expansion is Beyond Light, and we're entering a phase where the darkness has finally arrived on Earth, something you've been chasing and running away from and battling in different forms since 2014, since the game started. They're looping the story around entirely. So we're entering this phase of 3 years of where the darkness is here. it could be a good way to end the series and move on to like their next IP. Especially they've had, you know, investments from Tencent for IP. Like you just said, they're hiring for things. It's feasible, you know.
So that means it's not a 10-year game.
Well, it will be 20. I mean, you know, like, I mean, if the fall expansion is in 2022, they still support it for a full year. So you get it till 2023. So okay, fine, a 9-year game, you know, but
almost.
You know, if you think about it, they are not big enough to support multiple IPs, right? So it is a fair. I didn't think of it that way, Trip, but that's a good outlook to have. Is maybe 2022 going into 2023 is the end of it, and from there it's just maintenance stuff, and you just get whatever the final iteration of that is. Who knows? I've never thought of it that way, right? I've never thought of a world where Destiny doesn't exist in some form of fashion, but
I know.
Yeah, right. It's but it's a good thing to think about, because they're not backed with all these other studios anymore, right? Like, how can they support a new IP that's AAA in size and then support Destiny?
That was the benefit of being with Activision, that they could roll out, you know, 3 raids a year with their expansions. You know, with the seasonal model, it's been a little bit disappointing over the whole year to not get the content at the quality people were expecting. I think that's why we really felt the backlash last season. People were really I mean, it was a bad season in terms of like the gameplay activities, the reward loops, the things you had to do. I played the first day, and then I didn't play until like near the end of the season just to see what was going on in the game. And I have felt no regret about not getting all the things. Where if you said that to me a year ago, I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, what do you mean I don't have all the things? You know?
Right.
What do you mean we're not like the number one group doing this thing? It would have not registered in my brain. Right. But like you have to let the game live, and you have to be able to take time away from it when it gets to a place that's not good, and it wasn't in a good place. The new season that they're currently in right now, that started yesterday, is better. Still has a lot of the same problems, but they've definitely helped target your experience. Some of the reward engrams you can get, there's a process in the game to target them to what you want, not only like armor or weapons, but specific sets of armor or weapons. Like if you want drifter gear, or if you want crucible gear, you can actually have your engram drop those things. It'll tell you what could come out of that potentially. So that's one of the benefits of Destiny 1 in the last year. You could go to any vendor, you know, upgrade their rank up packages and grab what you wanted to make your armor better, what you needed to get, you know, to max level. You can do that now in a really effective way. And I played a lot of today, kind of, you know, getting a feel for what was going on, and I got like 10 of these engrams. So they're dropping at a pretty decent rate, and they drop on powerful level. So it's a good way to like round out your
last day from 940 to 999. Just buy these new Umbral engrams. Like, it's feeding me up. They've made your ritual activities, what they call like the basic strikes, PvP or Gambit modes, all of those weekly goals now drop pinnacle level reward tier gear, so you can really jump up in power level. They've heard people say this feels too grindy, I'm not gaining enough, it feels like I'm wasting my time. So a lot of like really, really good quality of life changes in terms of making your character stronger. And the areas are dope. You go to Io. If you remember from the base campaign of Destiny 2, the moon of Io around Jupiter is the first place that the traveler touched when it came to our solar system. And you saw Ikora staring at this like almost Stonehenge-y looking collection of rocks and stuff. Well, that's where the pyramid ship that has finally hit the solar system is parked over and like pulling light from this cradle. And there's this giant spinning, twisting tree growing in there. That's where Eris is hanging out right now. And it's a very gorgeous area. I think you're going to weekly have to go in there and clear out enemies, which is better than the daily bunkers they had with last season, which is just a fucking drag. But beyond that, I think it'll be a pretty tame season until we get to the fall, where not only will we have a new area, we'll be on Europa, which is another moon of Jupiter. They're going to be blowing up a lot of the Destiny 2 Year 1 locations. They're all going in what they're calling this Destiny content vault. Yep.
And you cannot touch activities on those planets. They won't be playable. But in the trade-off of taking those planets away, putting them in the vault, bringing in new areas to further the story, they're going to be bringing back spaces and raids from Destiny 1.
Hell yes.
So this fall, we're getting the full Cosmodrome, and we're getting the Vault of Glass raid.
Hell
and
yes.
I am stoked as shit to play Vault of Glass on PC.
Fucking know I'll be there.
Very excited.
Same.
Yeah, and that's cool. And then actually,
if that mean, oh, sorry, we're gonna send you. Sorry.
Oh, this really, really quick. It addressed one of the concerns I had was because they acknowledged this like last year. I want to say that Destiny's file size was getting large. It was getting really big.
Definitely addressing the file size issues. Yeah.
They were actually getting worried about that too, because the game was becoming too large. So now this is a good way to not only cycle content out and in. It's a good way of making things like kind of like fresh but not fresh at the same time, by getting rid of some content we've played already a shit ton.
There are so many Destiny 2 players that have never played Destiny 1. So this will be a really good way to like get them in touch with that content. Bring them back to literally day one, especially with Cosmodrome and Vault of Glass coming back. It'll be really cool to kind of see the roots of the game. And not only never play it on PC. I can't imagine what the sandbox will look like with all the weapons. We have all these new crazy different ways to play the game that didn't exist.
Yeah, sure.
When Vault of Glass was true. I mean, there's
like swords and all these things for fighting.
3 subclasses per character. There's exactly swords, bow and arrows. There's the game has changed so
dramatically.
Grenade
launchers.
Grenade, oh my god, since 2014.
Fun fact, they know that and they're probably going to balance for it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't give them too much credit.
Everyone went, are they? Speaking of balance, the new seasonal exotic that you get this season is a breach loading grenade launcher like Mountaintop, but
it's awesome. Yeah,
it shoots a blight, like a darkness blight, like the Taken Captains kind of throw, and it lands on the ground and taints enemies, and if they get killed by it, they make another blight and it kind of chain reacts. But also it does massive damage to what it lands on. This thing, I watched Rick Hackes had a couple clips on YouTube. I saw him delete both Riven of the Last Wish raid and Sanctified Mind of the Garden of Salvation raid. Neither of those bosses lasted more than I think a second and a half with everyone using this exotic.
Yeah, I saw it on the Garden boss melt them.
Just the entire health bar just disappearing.
I was having fun with it in PvP earlier today. It's pretty damn good using PvP.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great for control. You just drop it on a point and then no one steps in it.
100%. 100% right.
So yeah, it'll be cool to see where how the game is going to lead up to the fall. I appreciate their higher level thinking of what they wanted this year to look like, where they move the story along. Things you do have meaning to the overarching story. Like there's broken bits of the tower right now from where the Almighty crashed and some bits blew off and landed on the tower. That's persisting from what happened, even though the season was shitty. Like it's just cool little ways to say like, oh, I was there when that happened.
They did the live event, right? That happened since the last recording.
Saturday. Yeah.
Right. There was definitely some things that they need to change, which they acknowledged, but that was really cool that they had a live event.
Yeah. I already forgot about that event and I logged in for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of, I mean, I guess it's cool, but it took like 90 minutes for it to get going.
They need to.
Yeah. They acknowledged it. Yeah. They acknowledged that there was some room for improvement, but it showed that technically they have the capability to make that type of event happen in the future. And they want to continue to do that.
For sure. I think, if they can iterate on the game, keep it fresh, do things that surprise us. Like yesterday, they dropped a new dungeon as well as a new season.
I've heard really good things about it. Can't wait to dive in there with a group for sure. In the fall, we're getting a fourth subclass essentially, which is going to be darkness powers. That's been a rumor since Destiny 1. That's finally happening. That's going to change the game from entirely the ground up. You have to, balance for a third new subclass of darkness infused abilities. So hopefully this stuff will be engaging and make the game,
It's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're also going to need to get to a point where we're okay with not playing it every single day, especially with how they're building this out.
Yeah,
because it's not
where I'm at.
Not a healthy relationship. Just want to do this all the fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, like I honestly don't even have the desire to get back into it. Like I want to experience the dungeon. Like I want to be ready for the fall.
Yeah.
But just the thought of doing the same goddamn activities to grind up in power is just, it's like
that's the core problem. You have your
nauseating.
They make you do Gambit
because like
rewards.
Because you feel great right now, Neo, but you haven't hit soft cap yet, right? Like they're purposefully moving you up very quickly, and then you're gonna hit a fucking wall,
and then it's like,
yeah. So it's just like
that's it.
Like I am like a high level, like I love the fact that they forecasted out to 2022. I love that they're being transparent about where the story is going, coming from where we were from Destiny 1. The fact that they're even tying expansions together and big arc threads together is all fantastic stuff. For me, there's a lot of quality of life things that need to be fixed and resolved, which would never happen in an event like we got or in an announcement. Right. I definitely will play this season, no doubt about it. But I think for me, and I think I was saying this to somebody in the Discord earlier, and I think I said it to Neo too, which is like, this will be a game where I'll play the content, whatever is new, and then I'm gone. Right.
That's like, how I feel about it too.
I'm not living in Destiny anymore.
Sure. Like I've said to you guys, I love the raids the most. I think they're like the best that Destiny has to offer, and I will always come back for the raids. And I hate to be, feels weird being that guy that's like, all right, guys, I'm back again for the raid. You gonna get a spot for me? Like, you know what I mean? And then I dip out, but I'm gonna do it. I'm sorry.
I mean, my best memories of the game are the expansions where there is a raid and that week of prep, and then trying to make that push day one, solving those puzzles where literally no one in the world knows how to solve them yet, and everyone is just trying to figure it out. And being in the middle of that, that's the most fun playing this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm excited for that in the fall because that'll be a thing. The raid that they've announced is going to be the Deep Stone Crypt on Europa, so that'll be cool to see.
And the raid, the lead raid designer that did has returned from Riot. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so the raid director, I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Joe. I think his first name is Joe. I forget. I saw it last night on Twitter. Essentially, he left Riot, has come back to Destiny, and I believe he was responsible for all of the raids following the Dark Below.
Nice.
I'm not entirely sure on what raids he did, but he's returned.
Joe Blackburn?
That would be him. Yeah. So he tweeted out that he left Riot. I don't know the timeline on when he left Bungie to go to Riot, right, and vice versa, but he essentially tweeted out last night, this is my second day back at Bungie. And that was his announcement of it. Nobody knew that it happened. And then everybody was freaking out, that followed the game that closely, that he's returned. So hopefully that means the raid that we're getting in the fall is up to par.
I hope
it definitely is, the best that Destiny has to offer in a lot of different areas, right?
Raid always has been. In 2014,
I think what were you gonna say? 2014.
In 2014, the Vault of Glass. No one in a first-person shooter was ever making a raid like you would see in an MMO, like a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy 11 or something.
I remember the first time doing it, man. It was wild. It was a wild experience.
The same thing I was doing. I was like, I'm playing a shooter, but like we're solving puzzles and we're doing these mechanics, and we have to like specifically attack different things, and it was just like the 6 people coordinating. It blew my mind. And like, I had no
what was that room that was a jump puzzle that we first got to that like had so much space to it and was so high, and I was just like, in the Vault of Glass, right before you get to the vault
or the throne room, there was the pillars that would appear and disappear.
This crazy jump puzzle that you get to, and I was just like,
it was one of the reasons why it was so successful.
The scope of it was just so big. And
it wasn't a thing that people had experienced until then in that type of game
like that, no.
Right? So hopefully they can relive it. For me though, they have to do a lot of work in between. Like that's what will get me to continue to play it, even to keep me playing it more than as much as I want to, right? Which is I want to play the content. I want to play it a lot, and then I want to leave. I'm not going to play it in between droughts like I used to. But like there's certain decisions that are made that just really, really bother me. Like the one about this season that I'm hung up on, and then we can move on, not to end on a sour note, but like sunsetting is something that's a huge topic of conversation within the community, which is, I don't know if you're aware of this, Neo and Felix, but essentially they've said that the weapons that you currently have will not continue to be used in pinnacle activities in the future.
What does that mean?
So you know how year one, like if you got a Leviathan raid gun, you can't infuse it. You can't get mods on it, for example, right? Like you can't mod it with the current equipment. Well, like essentially they're leaving guns in the past to where they're capped on their power level. So a gun that came out in Forsaken will not be able to be used in season 12, right? Because we're going into season 11. Is that correct, Trip? Yep. This is season 11. So this is the last season where all of our guns are going to be able to be used. Season 12 comes, and content from Black Armory, content from Forsaken, all of those guns can still be used, but they can't be used in endgame activities because they won't be able to hit the power level in which is required to do the activities. So a lot of people are upset about this. You're attached to weapons, you're attached to this gear, and you have to leave it behind, right?
Locke, I've been out of the game for a while, but like I remember that happening before.
It happened. They did it in vanilla D1.
Yeah.
They did it in vanilla D1, and there's a few reasons why it worked. Yeah, well, there's a few reasons why it worked in vanilla D1. One, there was more loot. So you were still chasing new and better loot. That doesn't exist currently, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of good things being said about the new weapons that they released yesterday for this season and new perks, which is great. But again, the loot pool back then was much larger on what you could chase. The other thing is they course corrected it in D1, and then they gave you materials to chase to then bring your weapons up to a light level that mattered, right? Yeah, so they fixed that problem, and then they took it away again for a third time in D1. The reason why I bring it up is wherever you fall on this, is they re-released guns that in this season that we currently have that are exactly the same, but have the season marker on them from this season that will be able to be infused up in future seasons when the role that I have in my vault will not be able to be. So for example, I have a lonesome sidearm that I got from Season of the Drifter, whatever that Gambit season was, right? After this season ends, that lonesome in my vault will not be able to be used in endgame activities. But right now in this season, it's in the loot pool as a new weapon, and it will be able to be brought forward to future seasons. So you're essentially saying that I'm chasing the same loot in some cases for something I already have for the sake of it having a different logo on it, entitling it new. And there's many of them. I'm only calling out one weapon, but there's many.
There was a way to convert the old gun into the new gun.
So this is blowing up on Reddit, right? There's a huge thread on Reddit about this. Simple. Make me get the lonesome to drop and let me infuse the one that I have up. If you deem that this weapon is the weapon that we want to bring forward for whatever reason, that's fine. But to say the one that I have 15,000 kills on in my vault needs to be retired, and a new one, just because it's new for no other reason but in the sake that it has the new icon on it, seems ridiculous. And this is something that they didn't explain well, because everyone thought their Garden of Salvation raid gear was going to be able to be brought forward. But no, you need to get the one with the new logo on it, not the one you have in your vault, not the one that you already have acquired. You have to go get the new version of it. And the new version is not different. It doesn't have different roles. It doesn't look different. All it has this season's logo on it.
Yeah, and you already may have the god roll in the vault.
Right.
Like you're saying, yeah.
Right. So there's an easy solve for it, which is, I still have to get that roll. I still have to get that thing to drop. It still has to be a powerful. It still needs to be an increase in light, all of those things. Let me infuse it up if you're deciding to bring it back. That, personally, to me, is a huge quality of life problem that makes me not want to play the game, because then it feels like they're not valuing my time. Right.
There's definitely, I think I like and dislike the system that you're just describing, what they're doing. I can see how it's frustrating that you have to leave behind the things that you've grown attached to, and there are guns that I really like, but at the same time, I've acquired so many weapons and so many guns that I kind of just want to go, okay, I want to forget about these and just take in the new stuff and just give me the new rotating set. Then it kind of actually, it reminds me with like the icons and everything. It reminds me of like Magic the Gathering, right? Like you'll rotate in the new cards into the whatever season you're playing, and the old ones get.
I was just going to ask you if there was a precedent set in some other MMO.
I think someone actually mentioned how Magic does it better than Destiny in a thread that I was reading.
I think somebody. The first thing I thought of was Magic.
Yeah, I didn't play. I've never played Magic, but I think someone was using that comparison point. But here's the other thing, Neo. Like, you don't need to get rid of old gear if you make your new gear compelling. Right.
That's
so just because you love the gun that came out 4 seasons ago is great, But if they made guns that were compelling to use in the new seasons, it wouldn't matter if I could still use my old gun. I'd be compelled to use the new gun because it's designed well on all of these things, right? I'm not so upset, which I don't think they're currently doing, to be frank. I think this season has shown that they can do some cool stuff. Trip mentioned the exotic grenade launcher. That's very different. Some of the new weapon designs are really cool. And I think I'm over the fact that they're retiring weapons, but the fact that they put some of the same weapons back in the loot pool and they're calling it new is a huge oversight in my opinion. Yeah. It's small and it's minute, but to me, lazy as fuck. I think it's shady.
It makes sense with their overall plan because they want it to be a rolling decommission of your guns, essentially. Like every season that drops, your gun is good for, I think they said like 2 or 3 seasons from that point.
Yeah, I think so.
So that tag is what they're going by. Like whatever your weapon season tag is on it, that's how you know the starting point. And now when you go to infuse on your screen, you will see the max light that gun could ever be. You'll see it right there before you go to infuse anything at all, which is helpful. But you're definitely right that like the chase in Destiny is the loot. And after you get the loot, the chase is like, how do I get the best version of this thing? And that's like why people play the game. If they are done the story, if they don't feel like raiding, what am I going to do? Oh, I want this gun. I want this roll on this gun. I don't have that yet. That's the reason to play. If you're going to do all that work and then tell someone you can't use that, but here it is again, you're 1,000% right on the devaluing of their time. And I think every major feels bad man that Destiny has made in terms of like their gear over the years, even as far back as Destiny 1, it all comes down to the fact that they made a change that devalued everything you did over the past expansion year, whatever. That's really it. And they keep making a couple good steps, but they keep doing the thing where they say all the shit you just did doesn't matter. And I think that's the core problem.
Like they can. God, do they make stunning trailers? Do they make great? Like all of these things are great, and then I watch it, and then they make a decision like this that is so ass backwards, and I'm like, maybe I'm just at the point where like the shiny new thing just isn't enough for me anymore.
We've been at it since 2014, and we can see the fact that it's a big roulette machine we're playing, a big slot machine we're pulling the levers of every time we play a strike. Like that's what the game is. It's a loot game. It random rolls your shit when you get done. You hope you get the thing you want. Right. It's got a pretty coat of paint over it.
Locke,
we just like it, you know.
Locke, you want to come over and hunt some deer from a butcher's table?
Maybe, man. Maybe.
I think you'll appreciate it.
I don't know.
It's really relaxing.
Yeah. So is getting an ace in Valorant.
Oh, that feels real good.
Actually, it's not relaxing. It's fucking
when you pulled off the endorphins, man.
What's an ace again?
An ace is you kill all 5 players yourself against the enemy team. It's like getting a medal in another shooter, but
not easy.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the future of Destiny. I think that it can be great. It can
look. The next 3 years can be amazing. I think we're gonna be all about whatever happens in the fall, and then things will chill. The winter will come. We'll be like, yeah, he's still playing. Yeah, you want to raid, whatever. The spring is gonna come. We're gonna fucking hate it, and then the 2021 expansion is gonna roll around. That cycle is going to be the game forever. So
yeah.
But then maybe it won't. So we'll stay tuned, and obviously we'll be reporting on it here on the Emerging Gamer podcast.
You will
hear it.
So in a transitional segue, one of the things they talked about at the Destiny thing was the game will be playable cross-generation. So the PS5 version will also play with PS4 version and Xbox as well. Same thing. And that actually leads me into the PS5 announcement. And that is tomorrow. As of our recording right now, we don't know what's happening yet. But I just wanted to kind of take the temperature of the room on how we're feeling about the PS5 announcement. What are your hopes and dreams? What are you expecting from tomorrow?
I said this on the pre-show. I think there's going to be a plastic box with components inside, probably like a motherboard, CPU, GPU, inside of a box, not outside of a box. I'm expecting that. They're going to show something like that, I think.
Interesting choice.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, plastic for sure.
Plastic, yeah. I think the box. Well, actually, I know you're just fucking around, but I think the box itself will probably resemble the controller that they showed, where it has like black and white accents on it. So they'll go with like a two-tone
like a thematic thing where your controller would match your console.
Exactly.
Strong choice.
Strong choice. Would it be bolder for it to not match though? That's the question.
Did you guys ever watch the Onion Video News Network?
Yeah, I've seen a few of
when
them.
They had a spoof about Apple coming out with the new MacBook click wheel.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's a MacBook with a giant click wheel like the old iPods. It just makes sense.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think I personally would love to see more tech demo, right? Like I want to see what the integration of their software and hardware can do. Like
you want to see gameplay. You want to see things running on this.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not so concerned about what games will be announced. I think we're gonna see there's some easy pickings that will be showed, but it was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw. I know we posted it in the Discord, but Linus, Linus Tech Tips, right?
That video up. Yeah.
Yeah. So Linus from Linus Tech Tips essentially said, like, I done fucked up and misspoke, saying that the PS5 hardware is not going to be able to compete against a high-end gaming PC, right? And I think he learned more about it and realizes what his misunderstanding of the tech was.
Yeah, what he discovered was that the software of the PS5 is specifically designed to handle whatever the hardware is. When what's his face, Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, when he talks about the SSD being the most like efficient and powerful that they've had to like work with, he's talking about the integration between the hardware and the software that uses that, right? Saying that it's able to compute more because it's designed to use more, unlike Windows, which isn't really designed to take advantage fully of the hardware that we have in our machines. There's so many components that you can use in Windows PCs, right?
Right. Like he goes into detail of like, a PCIe SSD should be significantly better from a tech perspective for a gamer, but there's almost no difference from somebody using a SATA SSD to a PCIe in-game experience, right? Because games don't take advantage of that SSD in the way in which a PS5 game will take advantage of the SSD, right?
The operating system itself, right?
Sure, exactly.
Yeah. That's another problem they ran into, yeah.
So I think, for me, as someone that's PC exclusive at this point, I rarely turn my consoles on. If I were to invest in a next gen console, it would be PlayStation over Xbox 1,000 times over, for many different reasons. But for me, I would like to see the tech. I would like to see what improvements I would. At this point where I'm at is it's not just exclusives, it's what the tech is going to do, because I feel like I get great performance on my PC. So I'm getting great performance on my PC. Why will I want to play with a controller instead on my couch? What extra performance am I going to get? So that's what I'm hopeful for. So hopefully they show us some in-game, not some pre-made, A-roll tape.
CG stuff, yeah.
Right, like that'll be cool, right? The CG stuff is always flashy and cool, but I want to see some in-game stuff, like the demo that we saw, right, where we got to see how the lighting effects changed and all those things. A game I'll
never be able to play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. I don't need to play it, right? The tech demo was enough to sell me, right? So what does that look like on a AAA game in an actual engine is what I would like to see out of it. So hopefully we get some of that.
I'm very much hoping for that as well. One of my predictions is going to be Bloodborne 2, a game that we haven't seen about. I know they have Elden Ring. From Software has Elden Ring in the works, but I'm really hoping that we see a Bloodborne 2. That is one of my main predictions. Yeah.
Is Bloodborne from?
And it's a PlayStation.
I can never remember if it's them or if it was a competitor. Okay.
Yeah, it is from Software.
From.
Yes. Other predictions that people are leaning heavily on are Horizon 2. They're going to show that up. Yeah, I still think it's too soon because that game was it's 2017. Yeah.
Well, Breath of the Wild 2 could possibly come out this fall.
Maybe. Nintendo's been.
But what makes you think it's too soon? Like what? Just because it was 2017?
I think dev times are a little bit longer these days. I mean, yes, they have all the assets now, but if they're going to be making newer, better assets for the PS5, then I don't look. I'm not a developer or anything, but I just know these things take a lot of time and work to get into.
Right.
Rockstar 7 years for their.
That's and 5 to 7 years is like an average turnover time for a game usually, right? But
well,
I guess
mean that they can't tease it.
Sure,
right?
Sure. But I'm assuming they're going to show launch titles, right? Like things that we're going to play this winter, right? On the box itself.
Sure. It's a safe assumption.
Yeah, I mean,
but it doesn't mean they don't pull like an Elder Scrolls thing, a game that we won't see for a decade.
Oh God,
you know
can you imagine? As I'm playing Skyrim
they've
on the
already.
Switch.
Oh God, they've already said that we're not going to see that game for a fucking.
Can you imagine Elder Scrolls 6, dude? Skyrim 2.
I still don't have a clue what they're going to be doing with that.
They've already said it. They're gonna focus on their space game first. We're not gonna get anything Elder Scrolls related.
Starfield also. I can't fucking wait for these new Bethesda games, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I am.
Yeah. Do you think Spider-Man 2 is around the corner?
That seems too soon out of too soons.
I think, is it something that's coming? 1000%.
Oh yeah.
But I would think that is way too soon if you're going to compare it against Horizon.
Horizon for sure. Horizon I can see it coming out, but Spider-Man
too soon.
Not the move. Too soon.
God of War might be out a little bit further too, because that was 2018.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they have a solid foundation of games that will be sequels. You know what I mean? Like they have a strong lineup for the life cycle of PS5. I'm very curious on what the launch lineup will be.
Yeah.
I think like that's what we're going to find out, I think, or at least get a good amount, of games that are going to be coming out. And I really hope it's not a bunch of like remakes and dual releases. I really hope there's some things that are PS5 only.
Some exclusives.
Yeah. To not only entice, obviously, like you need to do that to move sales, but like, why would I buy this thing this year if it is coming out this year?
I feel like, and this could just be my jaded memory, but I feel like consoles have always had weak launches in the terms of the games that come out for them, right? Like the hardware is always compelling, but the day one titles that are there are usually, in comparison to the later half of the year,
it's like one or two midway through.
Yeah, it's usually very light. Usually like one big AAA game or two, and only one of them is well made. So I'm curious to see for this next gen hardware on both sides, right? For Xbox as well, but obviously we're talking about PlayStation. So yeah, I don't have any idea of what we'll see. I just hope we see in-game footage and not some bullshit. Like we saw with the Xbox conference.
There's no way after the way Xbox marketed their conference and then what happened during the conference, there's no way they don't show gameplay for this. I bet they scrambled and said, we need you guys. I know you sent us some shit. Send us some shit again. Plug this game in and play it.
Yeah.
Because we can't go out there and show a trailer for this game.
Here's another prediction I'm going to throw out there. We're going to hear voiceovers during gameplay about how the controller operates. Because of the way they described the controller being like this touch sense kind of thing, and the way the triggers have haptic feedback and all kinds of fancy technology they shoved into it. I bet we hear about a lot how your gameplay experience will be affected through the controller. So that's something I bet
that's a good call.
Let me throw another one out there for you. PlayStation VR 2? Do you think they announce another piece of hardware? Or do you think they hold that until like another year?
I would hold it.
I can't see
personally, if it was me making the decision and they had it, I would hold it. I mean, you don't want to cannibalize something that's going to cost a gamer a lot of money, right? For who they market consoles to, right? Like the average gamer is not going to buy a PS5 plus the VR extension to it, right? That's a lot of upfront money.
I won't.
Right.
Yeah, I won't either.
I'm definitely buying the PS5, but I'm not buying extra shit.
Right.
Especially if it's like 300, 400 extra.
Yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, you've just bought a computer, at that point. Right.
And for me, it's going to be 2 in 1 year. That's expensive.
He's doing some of the
box
Xbox
too. Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, I'm going to.
He's going to.
I'm just saying you don't have to.
I have Gen 1s of both the PS.
You don't have to. Just because you have Gen 1s doesn't mean you need to buy the next one. You fucking potato. Like what? It's like come on, dude.
Do I look like a potato now?
No, I mean, first of all, on my side, you're super blurry, so I could barely even see you. But
yeah.
all I'm saying is you like just because you bought the prior product doesn't mean you need to buy the next product.
I don't know.
Like you don't have to just do it.
I bought the other ones in the early days of their life, and I figure I might buy the new ones in the early days.
I'm ready. This is actually I didn't plan this for this to be right here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm ready for new Xbox solely because of this fucking power supply being a brick with a really loose.
It's not gonna do.
Well, they solved for that though.
They did. They put this inside.
You just got the OG one. You have like the one that I have.
Yeah.
The toaster oven on your floor.
That's a good reason.
Dude, I need to not have the toaster oven anymore. I got a lot of clutter.
All I'm saying is like
there.
just don't blindly buy it because you feel like you have to. Okay.
Blindly buying it. I'm
Well, you haven't given me a reason besides I own the original one. So
well, I think for Felix's case, he likes playing on both platforms. He's got friends on both platforms, and he's gonna want to be in both places. Is that a?
Well, that's true. That's why I'm buying more than one. That's why I'm buying both. I mean, for some people that they due to finances, I mean, they can't buy both. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to be all right. So I can probably just buy them both. I'm not necessarily saying I'm buying them at exactly the same time. I'm not,
I know there's exclusives on both platforms that you probably.
When it comes down to it, with anything, I know we're having a hardware conversation, so really what I'm about to say really doesn't matter because you asked me the specific question of what are we hoping in the hardware tomorrow. I can't even think about what the hardware is going to be because I don't really process that type of information.
You should watch
on a level of understanding that you guys
technology of the PlayStation that he did like a month ago.
No, but you guys have because you're also in tune with your computer hardware. You guys have a better general understanding of that kind of stuff. Like I've been saying this for years, and my father's really somebody who knows how to look under the hood of a car. And if he was my age and he was born when I was born, he'd probably be really great opening up the hood of a computer and getting into it. I've never been good opening up the hood of a car and knowing what the fuck I'm looking at. And that extends even further into computers. I stare at that shit and I just don't understand when I open the hood of a computer what the fuck I'm looking at. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm focused on story IP. I want to see what's coming out. And if there's nothing out on those consoles when it first fucking comes out, if they don't announce like some amazing game that I need, that I can't, like especially if they announce an IP that I 100% love, that will exclusively be released only on their next gen console, then that's an immediate sale. But if they say, oh, well, this game that's coming out, great IP, I've loved it for years, or new IP that I might want to play, if they say, oh, you can play it on the original console, well, fuck it. I'll get it for the original console. I won't buy the new console. Like if there's nothing at the beginning of these things, if there isn't intellectual property to go with the hardware, then I don't care.
It's all about games.
That's kind of what happened.
In the end, it's all about games too, right?
To be honest with you, that's kind of what happened with PS4 and Xbox. I didn't buy the Xbox One immediately. I bought it maybe a year after it came out, I think. I think it was like a year into it being out. And the only reason I did that was because I had so much fun playing online games with PS4, and Locke kept saying, I'm playing on the Xbox. You want to join me? You want to join me? And finally, one day, I think I just went out and said, fuck it, Locke, I'm playing on the Xbox now. And I think it was all Destiny, too. It was Destiny related. I think I bought it so I could play Destiny with you guys. That's the reason I have an Xbox. Just so, because I was playing Destiny from minute one. I was there before Destiny 1 was released. Like I was playing it. Somebody gave me a code for to play it before it came out.
We're playing the beta, I think, over the summer, the alpha.
But I remember being in the Destiny servers before there were any players there. I was just exploring the world alone with my my buddy Antonio. That's all.
It was me, you, and Anubis. Remember?
Yeah, Anubis was in. That was was that during beta or was that after the game launched?
That was launched, but that was like September.
Yeah,
September,
but it was PlayStation, and I did a lot of like raiding and on PlayStation, and then Locke was saying, you kept saying over and over again, if you come over and play with me, man, I'll show you how it feels to play real PvP. You know, we'll have a good time. We'll take you through the raid, all the shit, selling me on it every single week. We'd do the Emergent Gamer. You'd sell me on it, and finally I was just like, fuck it. I bought my Xbox. I
haven't whittled you down to be a PC gamer yet. I guess I failed.
That's
keep working on it, man.
That's really hard. I think that
we've got the PC now too.
Well, I think the argument with the PC is I'm starting to see more. This is not the real argument. This is just the one I'm making up. All right. This is the justification at this point with the PC is I'm observing more crossplay opportunities showing up. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm comfortable on the console. I have less stress when dealing with consoles. And if crossplay continues in the direction it's going, there might be a day where I don't need to have a PC to play with you. I mean, you might always have the advantage when we're doing PvPs and stuff like that, which is fine. I'll just be the guy who loses all the time. I don't care. You know.
No, but you make a valid argument, right? Yeah. And that's why I would want you to think about the Xbox purchase, right? Like major titles are now being cross-platform for a large
really
majority of them.
Hard about software.
Down, and it matters less what hardware you have in the end.
Yeah, I'm really thinking more about software and like if some kind of software feature that's inherent to the Xbox or the PlayStation 5 platform only can be used on the newer hardware because it's like a great cross-play feature or whatever that allows me to play with PC gamers, it's a no-brainer. Like, then I'll be able to like fucking do that, and it'll give me functionality. So that's really when it comes down to it with all this. I'm excited to see what the software announcements are going to be talking about. Like, this hardware is going to run this amazing new feature on our software. Okay. Now,
yeah, I do want them to give me, like, this is their chance to give us a real reason to say this is why you should buy a PS5 this holiday. Like, that's like that's
exactly what they need to do. Yeah.
I mean, this is it, right? Like, if you don't, right? Xbox has already done a really great job of me not wanting to buy an Xbox. I mean, they've already made me close my wallet. So now that they're done with that, right?
Why did they do that again?
Because the fucking announcement was dog shit.
Oh, the dog shit announcement. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, and they also said to us PC gamers, you don't need our hardware because you'll play our games on the PC. It doesn't matter.
Right. So
thank you. I don't need to buy your box. Yeah.
Right. So my wallet's already closed there. Hopefully Sony can say, like, yeah, this is the reason why you should buy a PS5. I'm actually glad for us as a collective, is we want to see different things, right? We all have our unique take on what we want to see.
Locke, you could still lean on the fact that the PlayStation 5 will always have exclusives you can't play, right?
Right, and that's why it would be the only console that I would ever buy.
Same with,
or besides like a Switch, right? Like a
Switch. Which also has IP that you can't play.
I mean, look, Sony's done a really good job at cultivating a bunch of studios to create these amazing experiences, and that's why I'm probably going to end up getting the PS5. Like, I want to be where Naughty Dog is. I want to be where these companies are making their stuff. Guerrilla Games, all these guys, like Death Stranding. Like, I want to play those games.
Kevin Oates, though, Kevin Oates, who might be still in the chat, he brought it up today. Kevin Oates goes, when we were meeting, he said, I'm probably leaning toward the box, and he's leaning toward the box because of how outstanding Game Pass experiences.
Right. It is great.
Because I know for a fact the PS Now is a piece of shit compared to Game Pass. I can tell you because I'm paying for both of them, and one of them
is what Xbox has been leaning on. They've been leaning on, look, we're going to be a better service provider for you.
Right.
You can get any hardware, Xbox, PC, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to play our games anywhere. We want you to play our games anywhere you want. They also are testing their own streaming service, kind of like Stadia, Stadia's. Theirs is still in beta. I actually forgot the name of it at this point in time. But that is what they're pushing for. They're pushing for a service.
So this is the answer. Then what I hope for tomorrow is that I want to see their competition. I want to see how they're going to compete with that. You know what I mean? Like, if Stadia and Xbox are going to be stepping up with more service shit, I want to see how that's going to be incorporated in their new hardware. And if they're not showing that tomorrow, they're not going to sell me yet. But
one thing that Sony has one thing that Xbox has addressed and Sony hasn't addressed yet was how is cross buying going to work between the generations? They actually haven't talked about, because they, like, for example, Cyberpunk said on Xbox, if you buy the Xbox One X version, it will work on the Series X, all features included, right? Like it'll play the better version of the game. Sony hasn't talked about that yet specifically, so that is actually something I'm actually hoping them to address tomorrow as well. What that situation will be like. If I buy Cyberpunk on PS4, will it translate to PS5 on their platform?
Yeah, they absolutely need to address that. Like that's a huge selling point for console
Saboteur
gamers, right?
2 launch title, baby.
Like they really do though. They need to address the ability to play the game on multiple generations. I mean, we're at the point now where you can't. That needs to be the expectation and the norm, right?
Yeah, just like crossplay should be at this point. I think personally, I think crossplay should be a thing for anything. And I guess
I had so much fun playing with Locke and Doc Prefect, my buddy in New York, on an Xbox playing Warzone. I mean, that was a great experience. I can't do that with Red Dead. I can't do that with fucking Fallout. I can't do that with. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
it should be definitely.
Why do I have to buy these goddamn games 6 times? Why?
Well, that's your choice. That's your problem. But
it is.
It is the developer's problem.
I'm a consumer.
You
I get it.
enable it.
I'm enabling them. Fuck me.
Also, last thing, I guess we're going to be wrapping up in a minute, but the last thing I want to address was the writer of Dead Space made like an off the cuff tweet that was like, my new project I've been working on for the last 2 years, I finally get to, like, I just want to let you guys know I'm working on it. And then he said, just in another news, hey, you guys should watch the PS5 conference on Thursday. So we'll probably see something from him too. I'm very curious to see what that is, because Dead Space is a great game. It was a real good.
That's all he made? Did he do anything else?
He did a few other ones, yeah.
Right.
That's all? A piece of shit?
It's just not a title I've ever played, so it doesn't stop my heart.
Right.
Dude, I hope maybe we'll get a Mass Effect trilogy remaster. Maybe we'll see that.
He didn't do that.
There was
someone else did that.
He did not. Someone else did that.
Okay.
No. I'm saying for the event.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see it. There's talks that EA will show it.
Maybe I'll finally play a Mass Effect game.
Trying to see what his name is. Anthony Johnson is the Dead Space writer. Let me see.
I feel like you would hate Mass Effect, Felix.
Oh, well, I've already talked about it on the show. I tried to play Mass Effect and got to the big, huge, like a giant ship, and then you have to talk to like 7 different people in this giant ship, and I fell asleep during their dialogue options numerous times. I'd be playing it
as literally the start of the game. You got through the start of the game. The large ship is literally the start of the game.
I played the first Mass Effect up until the point where we met, I think, the big bad alien, like the real big bad. It was like on some snow planet, and like that was being revealed, and then like life just sidetracked me. It wasn't like I was enjoying the hell out of it, but I'm trying to sit here and being like, what big giant ships are you talking about?
He's talking about the ship that you own and you
began with a C. Wasn't it called like the Center or the
Normandy?
No.
The Circle?
The Normandy is the ship.
No.
The Citadel is where.
Citadel, yeah.
That's a city. That's not a ship, dog.
I thought it was a city ship.
It's like a space station, right? It's like a big
space station. So I got to
those are ships? 10-4.
I got to the space station's ship Citadel bullshit. I got there, and you have to walk around and literally have like you would do in any game. Skyrim.
So it is the beginning of the game that you're talking.
The legit beginning of the game, dude. You get to the Citadel after the opening animation where they teach you how to play the fucking game.
I thought you went to like some planetary system, and you were like you had to go communicate with a bunch of aliens. I'm like, wow, I never got that far. But no,
he beat the intro planet trip. He beat the intro planet, the one that takes you 45 minutes to do. He shot up some aliens and then got to the Citadel and fell asleep.
I really did, man. And I not on one occasion, not even on one occasion, like multiple attempts to try and play this game. Every time I got to the Citadel, I would pass the fuck out. I always was playing it like
I get that it's not for everyone. I get it.
I'm not. I don't know if it's the game, but whatever.
A lot of people
it's definitely you as well, but it could be the game for sure.
So this guy has written the Dead Space games. He wrote Shadow of Mordor, and he wrote Atomic
which
Blonde.
I loved. I love Shadow of Mordor.
And he's doing Atomic Blonde.
What movie?
Atomic Blonde.
I loved Atomic Blonde. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I was excited.
And he did Binary Domain.
He's back in, dude. He's back in. Didn't play Dead Space, but he's in.
I'm in.
Now, is that what he's done?
Yeah, he also
wrote Atomic Blonde. Love Atomic Blonde.
Love it. I'm in.
Great.
He's also Iron Fist and the Defenders TV show, by the way, which is weird.
Interesting.
Well,
yeah.
Defenders was kind of trash.
He's back out.
I like
He's back out.
You know what I want to see?
Yeah.
You know what I want to see? Because it was the same director, not necessarily the writer, but the same director. I want to see. I don't know if they could ever do it, but I'd love to see like a Atomic Blonde and John Wick crossover.
Yes, I'm with
you.
The
the problem is Atomic Blonde takes place in the mid '80s, so essentially the character that Charlize Theron plays would
just introduce time travel into John Wick.
Yeah. The John Wick 3 has.
They could easily they could suffer it 4,000 ways.
Yeah.
But honestly, I that would be cool, but it would ruin. Like they've already said that John Wick is not going to end well. Like the writer has already said that like we should not expect a happy ending or an ending that anyone is going to like for John Wick. So I don't want to sidetrack the arc of those movies because they are fantastic. But it would be cool to see those two side by side.
Yeah. Just the choreography they put into both of those movies is so good.
For sure.
Well, you guys ready to wrap this up?
Sure.
I think so. Yeah, it's a long one tonight.
It was a long one. Lot. It's been a while though. It's been a while. All right, so I've been Neo Ayoshi. You can find me at Twitch at twitch.tv/NeoYoshi and twitter.com/Neo_Yoshi. So I actually got an email right before we went live. I'm doing my first sponsored stream next week, which I'm really excited about. I'm doing it's like a RTS card game. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'll tweet more about that later, the details and when that's gonna be. Cool. So please look forward to that. Nice. All right, Felix, take it away.
Yeah, and this is Felix Hergood at Felix Hergood. I play when I go live. I go to Mixer and Twitch at the exact same time. The games that I'm playing right now: Fallout 76, Red Dead Online, and what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing that you're still leading with Fallout 76. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. It's
Fallout
it's not
76
you. It's me.
and
it's
Red
me.
Dead
It's
Online and other single player games.
MLB? You still MLB in it?
I don't really play that online. It's like my
It's your therapeutic game. You're offline.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an offline thing. I'm also doing the Red Dead story offline. Like there's too much there's too many periods of time where I'm just staring like an idiot. Like in a baseball game, all I do is stare to watch the pitcher because I don't know if I can hit it. It's too fast sometimes.
In Little League, I stared at the grass. That's what I did.
You know what I mean? Like I gotta watch the pitchers like an actual real batter.
The problems you have in games, dude, are like the funniest thing.
It's great, dude. It's fucking.
But I'm taking the Phil's.
Talking about one thing you absolutely fucking hate about a game, and just like spend an hour.
It's wonderful to be on this ride with you, man. It really is,
dude. You are. I took the Phillies. Now we're in spring training for the 2020 season because I did the 2019 season where we won the World Series, and now I got them in the 2020 season. So I'm actually playing out the season we couldn't see.
Lock and Key, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at lock_key. I rarely go live anymore, but if I ever were to, like I've said before, you'll see a tweet go out about it. But just follow me there. You can see me doing a bunch of shit on Twitter, arguing with game developers, picking fights with people, letting people know that their opinions are wrong in some form of fashion. So follow me there. That's really it. Trip.
I am Trip Zero. All my socials are the same. Trip Zero TV. Very easy to find. I stream on twitch.tv/Trip Zero TV. And you can find me there Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Wednesdays is, of course, the podcast. So yeah, if you've been on Mixer, come follow me over at Twitch. Same username. I'm very easy to find again everywhere I am. and that's where I'll be.
Nice.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Have a good week.
Later.